Hello, everybody. We are live, and I am not using the correct branding here. Just, well, give me 1 second. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And also, I should play the intro, but who cares about that? Let's do it without the intro. Hi,
Yeah.
Julie. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. And you?
Excellent. I'm all right. I'm all right. All things considered.
All things considered. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
more or less. More or less, I'm okay. More or less.
Living in this crazy world, you mean?
hmm hmm
Okay. I
Exactly.
understand.
Exactly. Don't get me started on that.
Mm, no, better not.
Yeah, it would be a bad idea. So, Jolly, as always, this is an improvised English lesson. We are two English teachers here, so we're not going to be correcting each other. It's more like a conversation, a chat between two English teachers. Remind our viewers where you're from.
I'm from Spain.
You're from Spain, and I'm
Yep.
from the Czech Republic. So it's just nice to bounce ideas off each other like that, isn't it?
hmm
Just have a chat
What
in
do you want to
English.
talk about? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Well, maybe perhaps you could tell our viewers about the English lesson that I taught yesterday in the Achievers Chamber,
hmm
just to tell them what it was about and what kind of experience you had. That would help me promote that place a
Yeah.
little bit, but maybe it would also get us started.
Okay.
So
So it was fun, as always. I find these classes really interesting, really. And it's always fun. You get to talk to other people from different countries. You exchange ideas. You learn. I learn a lot from people in this group, to be honest. Um,
they're all kind of
and
high level, aren't they? Like most of
yeah,
them
yeah,
advanced
yeah.
C1. Yeah.
They are all really good. They all have their style or their, I don't know, the way. I suppose we all have our unique style or way of speaking or telling things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find them really nice people. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I can only agree. Like very inspiring and
hmm
diverse and different personalities and
Yeah.
yeah.
And different cultures as well.
hmm
So that can give you another view as well.
Yep.
And yesterday was about, we talk about paying methods. Paying methods, like you like, what's the method you use the most? You pay in cash? Do you pay by credit card or debit card?
Hmm.
So we were discussing a little bit. Um, and then we had like a debate or something. It was a bit controversial, let's say, because we talk about an article.
Yep.
We read a little. I didn't finish it, by the way, but I read half of it, more or
Yeah.
less. And the article talked about um, having a chip implanted in your hand with your bank account details and everything. So you just need to pass your hand to pay for things in the shops. And
Exactly. It's a contactless payment method, basically.
yes, it's a contactless
Contactless payment method.
payment.
Yeah. So
Very
imagine
simple. Yeah.
imagine not having to swipe your card
hmm
every single time and entering your PIN number, but instead having a chip implanted in your hand and then
Yeah.
just touching
Yeah. Well,
touching a
actually,
device. Yeah.
it's not in our, inside our or under our skin. But I have seen people doing that, and it's because the smartwatches they wear.
But this
Many.
one, this article was about a chip under your skin, right?
I know,
Yeah.
but you can see this thing. You can see people
Yep.
doing that and pay for things because they are using their smart watch. So
Hmm.
you can actually do that, not in under your skin, So yeah, we were talking about that, and well, we had different ideas. We had
Yeah.
divided opinions.
Yeah, that was quite
Yeah,
interesting because so
yeah,
basically just to explain the context a little bit, this is the Achievers Chamber Discord group to which you are all invited. Obviously, it's a paid membership group, but I think it's not that expensive. I would like to think it's actually
it's not.
it's a reasonable price for what it is.
Hmm.
And one of the things we do there is a weekly group lesson. Is I teach this lesson. It's only 30-minute long, but 30 minutes long. But to be honest, I usually make it a little bit longer. And there's always a topic. And on Discord, there's this great opportunity to divide the members into, you can divide
Groups.
members into different groups. Yeah. So I always I teach as I would normally do in a classroom. So I guess you too.
Hmm.
So I just put you guys in pairs and give you some questions to discuss, and then we also talk kind of in a large group as well. And in this case, I thought it would be interesting to divide you based on your opinion on this implant. Like, would you be willing to sort of have it in your own? Would you be willing to have a surgery and have it in your own kind of body? Yeah. And then there were four people who said no.
Yeah.
Four out of those students on that day said no, and then two people said yes. And you were one of the people who said no, but my plan was to have an equal number of students who would say yes and no, and then each of these different groups would have to justify why
Hmm.
they think in this kind of way. And you were a volunteer. You were a volunteer
Well, if
to
you say
be.
so.
Yeah, because I asked, hey, one of you guys that says no has to say yes,
Has to role play. Yeah.
has to role play. Yeah. And you said okay, and you were smiling, so I was like, yeah, Jolie seems in good spirits. Might as well ask her. And then so yeah, I put you in that group. But did you find it hard to actually have to argue against your own
It
view?
was.
Was it?
It was a bit hard. Yeah.
Why?
Because I was convinced that that was not a good idea, and the other guys were trying to. Well, first they asked you, "What are your arguments against?" Well, I'm with you guys. I'm on your side. We should talk about the positive things. But
Yeah.
it's really hard when you are convinced, when you have can I say conviction?
Conviction.
Conviction. That's
You
it.
can
That's
have
the word.
a strong conviction as well.
Exactly.
Mhm.
When you have a strong conviction, oh
Con-
God,
co- conviction.
conviction
Mhm.
about something, it's like, you know, it's not that I'm not open-minded. I'm, I
Mhm.
think I'm quite open-minded person,
Yeah.
but it seems like no matter what people is telling you or how they are trying to convince you, if you have an idea which is I'm looking for a word, but I don't remember.
Say it in a
It's
different way, and then we can make it work.
it's an idea that you already have before, that nobody tells you anything. It's a
Yeah. Prejudice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
So yeah, I found it hard, to defend the
Yeah.
idea to have that chip implanted. Um, I agree it could be really comfortable, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, we are. There was something. I think it was Max who said it. He
Mhm.
said that. Well, we are human beings. Um, I mean, we are not robots. We can build robots, and we
Speak
can.
speak for yourself. I am a robot. I
You are.
am a robot. Welcome everyone to live English lesson with me, teacher Zdenek, the robot.
Well, sometimes we look like, but we are not.
Mm.
So that would be a bit, it would be like becoming kind of robots. So I don't think is really, I don't know how to explain it. I was going to say immoral, but
Immoral.
I don't know if that's the right word. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Also, when you sort of when I said that the word that you meant was prejudice, maybe what you meant was like a preconception.
Preconception, yeah.
Preconception.
Preconce but how can you use it as an adjective with idea?
I think preconceived
Preconce
idea. Preconceived.
Preconceived.
Let me check it. Yeah, conceived idea.
Ending
Yeah, 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 yeah.
ending
It's
ed.
preconceived ideas are opinions formed beforehand without
Yep,
adequate evidence. Yeah,
yep, that's the one.
preconceived idea. I mean, it's quite close to prejudice, actually. Let's be honest. I'm making notes about this, Julie, yeah, for us. So
Yeah, I see.
we might also discuss it later. You can also make notes about whatever you want, yeah, and we can talk about it later in the language
Okay,
section.
I'll
Yeah.
try. I'm
Uh,
focused on the conversation and I don't,
yeah, no, no. So am I. It's a bit of multitasking, I know. Yeah. So, well, I thought it was a fantastic article. Actually, very interesting. One of my private students named Boran sent it to me last
Mhm.
week, and I knew the second he sent it to me, I knew this would be a brilliant thing to explore in the Achievers Chamber during these group lessons, because I always try to find something interesting. Because I mean, I could just go for a generic theme, like let's talk about family, let's talk about hobbies. I could still make it work, but I think this, the more like sort of unique or the more specific it is, the more interesting the lesson can be
Mhm.
in this case. Yeah, so I'm glad that also, there are a lot of possibilities for quite controversial topics, which could people could basically argue uh, about it a lot. But when it comes to this, I think, whereas it's a bit controversial and people can have different opinions, they will probably not, fall out over it. You know what I mean?
Fall out over it. Oh, I don't know that's a
Yeah,
phrasal. Oh, I don't know it.
it's a phrasal verb. Yeah. So if you fall out, it means you have an argument and then you just kind of stop talking to each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you stop being friends. Let's say. I think you can say to fall out over something. I'm gonna check it. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Make it blue.
Yeah.
hmm
That's what I
I
was
should
looking for.
I should make these blue as well. Yeah, because I have a color coding here, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why. Yeah. So if any of you are watching live and you've got things to add, you have things to ask us about, then feel free to leave comments as we talk to you here and talk to each other as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm also happy if any of the members,
Sorry.
including you, Jolly, don't worry, don't worry. Unfortunately, I can't edit that out because this is
I know.
live.
I know.
If you've got any ideas for interesting topics for these conversation lessons, like feel free to just send it to me or suggest it in one of our text channels. Yeah, because obviously I'm willing to listen and let you pick something. I like to empower my students like that whenever I can. Yeah, I think it's more motivating when your students can pick what they're going to talk about. Would you agree? Do you also do that as a teacher?
Sometimes. Yeah. Unless I've got when I teach general English or like, nothing specific really. Yeah, I tend to do that. But not with my students who are preparing for the Cambridge exams, for example. I try to do time to time some kind of interactive, or because the exam itself is already is it's hard enough, let's say.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be frustrating for them to just focus on the typical exercises and all that. So
Yeah.
sometimes we need a bit of fresh air and do something different.
What's this supposed to mean? We've got some formulas from Irena here.
0.3 plus 60
I
plus
are you okay, Irena?
13. 13.
I think it's Irena's cat. That was Irena's cat typing, everyone.
Oh, that was cats.
Do you know
No,
what? Do you know
that was her
what?
cat.
That was her cat. Do you know what? It's possible that her cat is trying to tell us something with this.
Yeah.
So this let's try to figure this out. Yeah, let's try to see if we can find some logic in it. Do you have logical brain,
It could be
Jolly?
hello, hello, hello. The 3 could be an E, and
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the way French people read their numbers. It's also a bit weird, isn't it? It's like 20 times 4 plus 10. If you wanted to say 90, you have to say 20 times 4 plus 10 or
oh
something like
really?
that.
I didn't know that. I can't I
please
can't understand French.
please if
I
I'm
can't
not
speak it.
please if I'm not correct, someone tell me, yeah, but this is what I remember because I had like one semester of French. I can't say anything in French because I didn't pay attention to it, but when I was at my uni it was like an optional subject, yeah, and we were learning numbers, yeah. I don't remember anything now, but I believe the way French people say numbers is really weird. Oh yeah, Irena is a polyglot, so she said I'm right. So imagine instead of having one word for 90, you have in French you have to say 20 times 4 plus 10 in order to say 90. It's like one word. 20 times 4 plus 10.
God, that's
Imagine
crazy.
imagine you are 19 years old. Imagine you are 90 years old and somebody asks you, "How
How
old
old
are
are
you?
you?
How old are you?" And you can barely talk at that age, yeah, because it's difficult, I guess, at the age of 90 unless you are the queen or um, in good health. Yeah, there are still people in good health at that age, but there are a lot of people who are not. Let's be honest.
Hmm.
And imagine having to say that. It's like, how unfair is that? That
Yes. It is.
the person who came up with this French language invented the numbers in that kind of way. Like that's
Obviously
insane.
didn't think about a case like this. God, that's crazy. I didn't know
Yeah.
that about the
Yeah.
numbers.
So I was thinking maybe this is what Irena's cat was doing, three plus 60, because
Three
it's more
times, yeah,
no, it's three plus
3
60
plus
because
60.
Irena's cat wanted to say 63, obviously. Yeah, for some reason. But it's easier for the cat to type 3 plus 60. Also, I don't understand that comma. Is that a way cats write numbers or hmm.
Interesting.
And why number 13? That's a bad number.
That's a lucky number.
Do you think that cat that was typing this was black as well and was like, because black
Mm.
cats, it's like superstitious people think that
Superstition, yeah.
if a black cat crosses your road, then it will bring you bad luck. And also number 13 is bad luck. So do you think there is some kind of connection there?
Could be. Who knows? Let's see what Irena says.
Yeah, exactly. Um, we're talking, we are exploring different topics here, really, um, as always.
Are you superstitious?
Me?
Hmm.
No, I'm not.
I'm,
I'm not. I
I'm,
was when I was young, I guess, a little bit, yeah, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just sometimes, I don't know if this is the word, if this is the right word, maniac. Can you say
M-
maniac?
Maniac.
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 Yeah, like,
I or manic. Which one do you want to say? Are you
I
manic
don't
or are
know.
you are you a
I don't,
maniac?
maniac. Like, not crazy. I don't mean crazy, but it's just I've got some habits,
Yeah.
and I have to do it that way. Like, for example, every time I don't know, every time I switch on the radio in my car, I have to put the volume at pair number. It has to be, the volume. When you put the
Yeah.
volume up, it's like when you turn the volume up,
Yeah.
you've got different like numbers. So it has to be a pair number. 12, 14,
Mm.
16, 18. It
Do you know
cannot
what?
be.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
I,
that's superstition. It's not.
yeah, there's a
But
maniac. It's like it means an obsessive enthusiast or a person exhibiting extremely wild or violent behavior.
no, and then no, that's not the word then.
Okay. I think maybe you are obsessive. I think that's the word.
Obsessive
Obsessive. Yeah.
could
You
be.
know, there's a disease, or it's called OCD, right? Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Hmm.
Is that what you are suffering from?
No, I don't think so. I
Hmm.
only do that with the radio, and I don't know.
And
You can,
TV and
no, no,
computer
no,
and
no.
laptop and my mobile phone
Just
and my fridge and my microwave and my washing machine and my
no,
dishwasher.
no, 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 no. Only in the radio on my car, and in my car, and also when I set the alarm on my
Yeah.
mobile phone, I cannot I cannot put like a clock. It can never be like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. No, it has to be seven, like 1 minute past seven or
Mm.
2 minutes plus seven. But I
Okay.
never put the o'clock.
I think I've got a diagnosis for you.
I'm
You are a weirdo.
a weirdo. Oh well. I don't
why,
know.
why,
I don't
why,
know
why,
why I
why,
do
why
that.
why can't it be a whole number? Why does it have to be like 2 past 8 or something?
I don't
What's
know.
the significance of that?
There is no meaning. There is no reason. It's just, I cannot see the o'clock. I have to put something else. Has to be 1, 2, 3 minutes more, but it cannot be, or one,
Uh,
two,
it,
three
do,
minutes less, but it
so does
cannot
it
be
annoy
o'clock.
does it annoy you when you see it, or is it about
No,
the fact that you kind of like the idea that it's like Spanish people, they tend to be a little bit late, let's say, compared to Swiss people who are always on time, like
no,
just to see the two
no,
opposites.
no, 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 no. It's
No.
not. I don't mind seeing when I check my watch, for example, and it's
Yeah.
o'clock. Well, it's fine. It doesn't bother me or annoy me or anything. And it's not. I'm a very punctual person, actually.
Well,
Yeah,
you were only seven
I
minutes
like
late
to be.
today, so don't worry.
But I told you in advance. I was in another class. Don't be bad.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Well, you were only about 2 minutes, 3 minutes late, but that's because you had to go to the toilet. Is it okay
Yes.
if I share this with our viewers?
Well, there's no need, but you can.
Yeah, don't worry. We don't have to describe what exactly you did there.
No,
That's not necessary. Yeah, I know some
no,
podcasters do that, some YouTubers do that, but I don't think we're gonna go that far.
no. I appreciate you don't go that far.
Only if you really want us to,
No, 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 no.
or
And it
our
was
viewers.
it
What if
was it was really quick. So
oh, so you are going into detail?
okay, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there.
Hmm, it was quick. Okay.
It was quick.
Well, there is
That's
quick
it.
and there is quick, right? So what can be quick for one person can be slow for another person, and we
Yeah.
could talk about all sorts of different things, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. What are you thinking about?
Well, there are a lot of things, right?
Lots of things, yes.
A lot of things that you can do really quickly and really slowly, and and then for one person, what is slow could be fast, and vice versa, right? As well. For some people, I might be talking fast right now. For others, it might be really slow or sluggish. So,
Hmm.
whichever one you are, I hope it's not too bad. Speaking of which, I have actually changed the speed on of my podcast in my podcasting app. I changed it to 1.1. So if the speed is 1, it's the real speed of the podcast. But I've realized that if I change it to 1.1, there's almost no difference. So it's 1.1. How does it work? Is it like 10% faster? I think it's 10% faster than the actual recording.
Hmm.
So imagine you are listening to this or watching this, and you
10% faster.
play it at 10% faster. Now, what it means is that if I play 10 minutes worth of podcast, now it could be I could be completely wrong about this, but does it mean that I actually save 1 minute? And I is that what it means? That if I listen
No,
to
you don't. You don't save any. No, you don't save anything
I
any
do.
time.
So if a podcast lasts 10 minutes,
But you spend well, but you spend the same time because you are
I
speaking
don't.
live.
No, not here. I'm thinking like when I listen to a podcast as a
Oh,
listener.
when you
Mhm.
listen, then you save time, but not when you are recording it.
No. Of course not. No,
Yeah.
that's not what I meant. But
So
as a
when you
listener,
listen to
yeah,
it, yeah, yeah. So
because my podcasting app can
Mhm.
do that. It's called Podcast Republic. I think most modern podcasting apps can do that. I don't think it's any special, but it's like a cool feature because, to be honest, it's not much of a difference to me. Like when I listen to it at 1.1, I think even I could do 1.2, but I think it starts getting a bit unnatural. Like people speak a little bit like that, a little bit faster, and
Be careful
yeah.
because if you like that too much, we are going to end up, listening to you like a. That will be, So be careful.
No. You can listen to it at any speed you want. It's just about like the listener can
Can you
set it.
imagine? Oh,
Yeah.
1.1, no difference. Let's try it 1.0. Oh, why not 1.3? And you end up, like.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, some people tend to speak slower, right? So, for example, I don't really like him, but the Czech president, he speaks really slow, and he's a great. I say it. I say it. Even though I really hate him and his opinions, but I have to admit he's a good speaker. Like he's a good public speaker, but he speaks so slowly. Yeah, so slowly. So
It's like.
he always, yeah, he buys himself so much time with that, and then how whatever he says, it's like it has good structure, good sentence structure, and it's very to the point. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I can imagine if someone listens to him, you would have to go like all the way up to 1.8 or something, and then it would sound like natural speech to you. So
Mhm.
I guess everybody is a little bit different, yeah. So
Yep.
if for some people I'm too slow because I've got my own podcast, of course, Zdenek's English podcast, then you can speed me up, and it's if I'm too fast, you can do the opposite, yeah. So
What will be the opposite? Slow you down.
maybe I'm not. Would you say speed it up?
You can
I
speed me
can.
up or you can slow me down. Could it be? I don't know.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do any of that, just in case. Yeah.
Okay. My
Yeah.
boyfriend speaks very slow as well. Sometimes I have to tell him, like,
Really.
yeah,
Is he
because
is he is he is he a human being or is he a robot?
he is a human being.
Is he human?
But he's his way of speaking and is very,
Measured. Yeah. This.
and then everything he says makes sense and is coherent and but is very slow. And sometimes I
Yeah.
have to tell him, can you finish your sentence?
Or maybe it's not that he is weird. Maybe it's you, Jolly. Maybe you are too fast for him.
No, I'm not. I don't think I speak fast.
Not like your English seems natural pace to me.
No,
So
In
I don't know.
Spanish, I do the same. It's not.
But Spanish people tend to speak quite fast, right? Quite fast.
Not everyone. There is a variety.
No tengo dinero, soy estudiante de la escuela idiomas. Vamos a la playa, el ritmo de la noche. Una cerveza, por favor. Una chica checa.
Una chica
That's
checa.
yeah.
That was fun. Una chica checa.
Una chica checa. Yeah. So yeah. Irena says, when I lived in an apartment building in Canada, they didn't have the 13th floor. You would enter the elevator, you could press 10, 11, 12, 14, but not 13.
Yeah. I had a similar experience in Edinburgh when I was working at a hotel. All the room numbers, went from, for example, the first floor was 100. So you had 101, 102, and then 112, 114. There was no 113, right? In the second floor, the rooms started with 200, and it was the same. 212, 214, but there was no
Well,
213.
imagine that in France, and if they had like voice operated elevator, and that elevator would just always say the floors as well. Imagine how long it would take for a French elevator to say these numbers, and then by the time the elevator says the number, you are already on the top of the
Yeah.
on top of the building.
Or they would have to modify a little bit the speed of the elevator to adjust, to give
Yeah.
it time to the voice to say the number.
Yeah.
So it will take forever.
20 times 4 plus 10. 20 times 4 plus 10. What?
Crazy.
Where am I going? Yeah. And then if some of you have seen the Scottish elevator, the famous video, the Scottish elevator, I highly recommend that. It's a fantastic video. Just search it on YouTube.
11.
After you finish watching this, not that you do it now, because we don't want to lose any people at this point. But it's basically about Scottish people with a Scottish accent. That's normally how it works, right? Scottish people normally have Scottish accent, and them trying to use a voice-operated elevator, saying number 11.
11.
The elevator doesn't understand what what they are saying because of their accent, and it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. I remember it.
I'm not saying it's a bad language or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't understand why you say 20 times 4 plus 10 in order to say 90. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. Like, why would anyone invent a language like that? Like,
see, talking about this, about the numbers, how is different languages, how you say the numbers in different languages, reminds me of a conversation I was having with my boyfriend a couple of days ago about the way people say good morning. In English, you say good morning. In German, I think you say guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
French is bonjour, I think. I think so.
Buongiorno, is that Italian? Buongiorno.
Buongiorno would be Italian, and Portuguese would be bon dia. So we were talking about, like, why do Spanish people say buenos dias in plural? Everybody uses the singular, but we don't say in Spain. We make it plural. The morning, the afternoon, the evening, night. Everything is in plural. So it's like saying good mornings, good afternoons, good evenings. So I don't understand why. Who thought about that?
I have no idea. Like all these irregularities, like English is full of them as well, right?
Because when you
Why,
say,
why,
yeah,
why do we say one deer and two deer? Or why do we say one mouse and two mice?
yeah,
What's the logic of that? Why can't we just say two mouses, two deers?
like house, houses, mouse, mouses, yeah.
Exactly. It's logical, isn't it? Ugh, what can I say?
Yeah, but it makes no sense because when you say somebody good morning, you are referring to that morning, only one day. So why do Spanish people say buenos dias, like good mornings? Makes no sense. How many days are you referring to?
I have no idea, Julie, but good point.
So
Good
yeah.
point. Right. Why don't we take a look at some language here?
Hmm.
We haven't written much. This
No.
usually happens when I have a really good conversation with my student, yeah, or my guest on the podcast. Then I can't focus on the other things. Yeah. So, to have a strong conviction, what does it mean again, Jolly? If you have a strong conviction,
If you have a strong conviction, I, I find it hard to pronounce this
okay,
word.
okay. Let me help you. So
Conviction. Now,
thi- thi-
conviction.
this syllable is stressed. I don't know why I made it red. Can everybody see what I can see? By the way, hang
I
on.
can.
I'll put us here. Right. Here is the stress. Yeah. So this has the schwa sound. Con,
Con,
conviction.
conviction,
So all you need to do is to just learn to say viction, and then
viction,
there's just which is
conviction.
conviction, which is not stressed, right?
Okay. To have a
Yeah.
strong conviction,
Hmm.
conviction. Okay. So that means your ideas are really deep, like you are convinced or you are really, I don't know how to
Well,
explain it.
it means you strongly believe in something.
Yep.
You're a strong believer in something. Yeah. So it's like it's impossible to convince you otherwise. It's impossible to change your mind,
Hmm.
basically. Yeah.
Yep.
You have a strong conviction. There's a good reason for that as well. Okay. Now
Good.
we have this word prejudice.
Prejudice. Preju-
Prej- prejudice. Yeah.
prejudice.
Prejudice. And
Prejudice.
preconception. I think these words are quite similar. I have also opened a dictionary here. I don't know if you could see the dictionary or not, but prejudice is an unfair and unreasonable opinion or feeling, especially when formed without enough thought or knowledge. So
Mm.
it's like a stereotype. It always often comes from a stereotype
Yep.
that people generally have or you have. It's like a
Mhm.
personal stereotype almost,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Or something like that.
That's
Uh, and I think this is this
prejudice.
the difference between these two words is that this one is negative, whereas preconception doesn't necessarily have to be negative.
Negative. No, it's
I
not
think
negative.
it could be neutral, right? Let's see. Preconception is an idea or opinion formed before enough information is available to form it correctly. So it also kind of sounds negative, to be honest. Huh?
Could be.
I
Yeah.
think it's mostly used in that kind of way, like to have a preconception. It's like because to be honest, like it's the opposite of being open minded, right? Isn't it? Because if you are open minded, you're willing to accept other people's
Yeah.
views, so
But for
willing.
example,
Yeah.
right, I'm thinking about an example.
Mhm.
Like imagine I don't know, you um uh, I'm thinking about films or movies.
Yeah.
So imagine you are a great fan of an actor or an actress
Mm.
and you know there's going to be a new movie released, right?
Yeah.
So you want to go and watch it, and you have a preconceived idea that the movie is going to be good.
Hmm.
and you go to watch it because you think it's going to be good, because you
Yeah.
have watched all these films, or
Yeah.
all his or her films, so you have a
Yeah.
preconceived idea.
Do you know what? I wouldn't actually use it for something like that.
No.
Mm, it sounds like I would use preconceived idea for something more, for something deeper, for some sort of deeper thought, or some sort of
Hmm.
deep, more complex concept. But
What
if it
about a personal situation, maybe?
for this, I would use expectation. Yeah, you have a certain expectation.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can have a high expectation of a film or something like that. But I guess it's not wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I wouldn't use it like that.
Okay.
I would use the word expectation, like you have high expectations, or would you could you say it like that? You have a preconceived idea. I just feel like it's something, it's like a stronger thing. Yeah, preconceived idea, preconception is like the same thing in a way,
Hmm.
right? Anything else? Did you? Sorry, were you saying anything else?
No, that's why I understand. I would say expectation. I think it's much better.
I think it's more common in this case. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then there's this phrase to live up to your expectations. Yeah. So if something lives up to your expectations,
Yep.
then
That means
it it doesn't disappoint you. It plays out in the way you expected it. Let's say, yeah, it happens in that way. Whereas if it doesn't live up to your expectations, you thought it would be better, right?
Mhm.
You had higher expectations. It's a very good phrase to live up to your expectations, or maybe to meet your expectations as well. Maybe, yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that one
yeah.
more often. Yeah, to meet your expectations.
Maybe I have to write it here. Hmm. Okay, and then we had the word superstition. A superstition. So can you remind us what that is, or give us an example?
Superstition, the black cat crossing the street in front of you. A superstition is a belief of a belief in, I don't know, something that you think is going to bring you bad luck, or even good luck. It could be they, I would say they are certain beliefs that people have, and they are related with sorry, they are related to good or bad luck.
Yeah. And is this based on science? Is this based on some scientific knowledge or not?
No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, that's kind of
Popular beliefs,
that was a
let's say.
concept checking question from me. Just yeah, it's more based on
Traditions or
yeah some folklore and things like
folklore.
that. Like
Yeah.
not really. There's no logic in it. No science
Mm.
whatsoever. It's actually you could say that it's a load of bollocks. Actually, it's
What?
non it's nonsense.
Nonsense. I
Bollocks.
know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's less formal to say bollocks. It's like actually bollocks are like testicles. Yeah, but British people use it to mean nonsense. It's like rubbish. Another way of saying
Hmm.
rubbish, I guess. Okay. A maniac. Yeah, a maniac. We thought it was you, but then it turned out that it doesn't. Probably unfair to call you a maniac. A maniac is a person who has a very strong interest in a particular activity. A football or sex maniac. A person who behaves in an uncontrolled way, not worrying about risks or danger. Or, yeah, that's it. Or a person who seems unable to control his or her behavior and may commit violent acts. Yeah. And
So
then
no,
there's,
I'm not a maniac.
I hope so. And then there's
Maybe.
also an adjective manic. Maniac is a noun, but manic is an adjective. So if someone is manic, it means that person is very excited or anxious in a way that causes you to be very physically active. You know those people that often like sort of fidget a lot and sort
Mm,
of like
yeah.
maybe some of my students told me that I'm quite expressive when I teach. Like I use my body language a lot, like gestures, maybe a bit too much. I don't know if it shows, if it comes through here in the shows, but when I'm like in a real classroom, I do tend to like use my hands a lot. Maybe some people like I know some teenagers used to even like I don't want to say make fun of me, but they sort of like pointed it out to me. Yeah, that I can be a bit more expressive, and I don't know, maybe it's for some people it could be manic, but I don't think so. Manic is almost like you have an illness, you know.
Hmm.
It's sort of like yeah, it's going a bit too far. All right, obsessive. What does that mean?
Obsessive. That's the feeling of OCD, obsessive compulsive. What was it?
Disorder.
Disorder.
Mm.
Disorder. So obsessive is. y- I cannot say the word defined in the definition, right?
Yeah,
Obsession. Yeah,
you
I
have an
was going to.
mm.
I was going to say obsession. So it's like, yeah, it's a kind of behavior
Yep.
disorder, let's say.
You kind of have to keep doing something,
You keep doing
and
something,
yeah,
or um, I don't know.
in some people's eyes, you do it too much, basically,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
it's like almost like addiction, but it has a different meaning. Addiction. Obs- it's like if you are obsessed with something, right? It's also it means that you have to keep doing it and you can't help it. You love it too much, or you love it a
Yeah.
lot, up to a point when it becomes unhealthy. So obsessive, it's like kind of unhealthy, uh, healthy.
Denek, I lost you. I don't know what happened. Don't know if you can hear me.
Sorry, there's something happened. Like you cut out for a second.
Yeah, you too.
My connection seems to be unstable now. I don't know why,
Okay,
but yeah, it
you
should be fine.
you came
It
back.
should, yeah, but it still says it's unstable. So don't know if you guys can hear me, see me. Okay. And what else do we have there? Measured, yeah. So you know how you said that your boyfriend speaks slowly.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good word to describe that could be that he's measured. Measured. It means having a slow but regular rhythm.
Yep,
Yeah. Or you can
that's it.
say it. You can describe someone's like speech like that. You can someone's carefully considered and restrained. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what do
Measure.
you have? So you have only one word. What
Only one.
is that?
I've.
Is that the most interesting? The only interesting thing that I said during our
No, it doesn't. That
conversation?
doesn't mean it's the most interesting, but it's the one. It was something you said, and I didn't understand. So
Mhm.
I asked, "Oh, what's that?" But I didn't written. I could have written much, many more things. But I was just talking to you. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it's to
I know
fall
I
out.
shouldn't.
It doesn't matter. I'm just taking the piss. So it's just to fall out over something. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what does it mean?
To stop arguing with a friend or with a person and not talk to him, not talking to him or her anymore, or
Mm,
stopping, like,
No, you first argue. You have an argument,
you have an
and
argument
then you
and then
stop talking to each other. Basically.
you
Yeah.
stop talking.
So, what could you fall out over, for example? What's a common thing to fall out over for people?
I think when we talk about family, inheritance,
Hmm,
it's
that
very
makes sense.
common, very
That makes
common.
sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brothers and
Um,
sisters, you know.
I think politics. Politics.
Politics could. Well, if your friendship is strong, because I talk to my friends about politics sometimes, and they've got different ideas to mine,
Yeah.
but we are
Same.
we are still friends, you know. If the friendship is strong and or you got a strong bonds,
I
can we say
agree.
that?
I agree. But it can be a problem because politics, like, if the way you think, it's like it's about your values. It's about the way you think. If you are more right wing or left wing, if you are, it really sometimes can kind of permeate our lives, right? If that makes any sense. And basically, if it comes down to something important, when you are sort of talking to each other, it can really be a painful for you if your best friend thinks in that kind of way.
Yeah,
It's
sometimes.
like it's the
It never happened to me. Never happened to me with my best friends, you know, my closest ones.
one thing to admit is that we don't tend to flock of birds of feather flock together. We don't tend to get, let's say, spend time with people who have completely different opinions to ours. Most of our friends think like us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they are our friends, because we are comfortable around them. In most cases, I'm not saying it's always like that, but do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You tend to be friends with people who think in a similar way to you about these things, about, like, let's say, whether you are
And that's
open-minded
and
or
that's why you get on
or
well
not.
with them. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and yeah, religion as well, it's another thing. Yeah, that too. Yeah, but the thing with religion is, like, I for me it's not as like, the thing, I wouldn't fall out over this, because for me religion is like, I don't feel entitled to even, like, try to convince someone to stop believing. I don't think it's the right thing to do. Like, I feel it's like it's a level above politics for me. Like, I don't believe. I'm not religious, but I just don't have a problem with other people believing in something. Like, I don't see why it's a problem. But I have a problem with other people believing in certain political views, which are just completely different from mine. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I, when I say completely different, I mean extreme views, extreme political views. I
Yeah.
just can't stand. I can't stand that. Like, whenever there is a political party that justifies racism and things like that, or inequality and suppression of human rights, I have a problem with that. When it comes to religion, even I know there are some religions in the world that do the same, but I don't feel like I'm in a position. Like, who am I to even suggest that they are wrong? It's a religion. It's been here for thousands of years, right? What do you think about that?
That's a very that's a very controversial topic. That's a
Are we
very
gonna
difficult. It's a very
are we
difficult one.
are we gonna
I'm not.
fall
I'm
out
not.
fall
I'm
out
not
over it?
very. No. 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 I'm not very religious person either. Um, and I respect others, of course. Respect is the first thing we should have. Um, but sometimes, if I have to be honest, sometimes people justify things. Um, I'm not going to say anything in particular, but sometimes they use their religion as an excuse,
Hmm, hmm.
and I don't think that's right.
Ah,
I
that's
I
a
like
fair
to I
that's
like
a
to
fair
say
point. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to think that religion is a good thing. You know, it's like it's not a tool to create um, a war or
Yeah,
a. It shouldn't be. It
I
shouldn't be.
agree. I
It
agree
should
with
be.
you.
It should be a nice thing. It should be um, a kind of feeling that people should be allowed to have
Yeah,
a feeling of comfort and I don't know, relief
yeah.
or it
Faith,
should
like
be
it's faith, like it brings you
safe.
faith.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. But if they use it to justify things that are blatantly immoral or blatantly not in line with what values we have in the 21st, well, we say we. Who are we?
Mm.
We people from Europe, or we people from Spain, or that's the
Or
problem. Yeah,
everybody in the world. Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
problem, because does that mean that we are better than them? I don't that's why I don't like this debate, because I agree with you. I have a problem with a lot of things myself, but I don't feel like I am in that position to say anything on that. Whereas with politics, I feel like I do. I don't know. It's hard to explain why this is different for me. But it should be similar. Maybe I'm the one who is wrong about this, actually. Anyway,
It's a very extensive topic. We could be speaking about this for hours
extensive. You mean
or
like
days.
yeah,
Extensive
uh, um,
or days or months. I
yeah,
don't know.
complex as well, heavy. Yeah,
It's complex, heavy, is yeah, extensive, intense. Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't think we will talk about it here.
No,
I
please.
think that's where we will leave it for today. Thank you very
Okay.
much for talking to me and discussing all these topics, and thank you very much for not falling out with
Well,
me as well.
thanks to you, Zdenek.
You're very welcome, Jolly.
Okay.
Thanks everyone, and if you enjoyed this live lesson, please give us a like and share this with your friends. Tell your friends about this channel; they might like it. Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.